So, today's the 21st. I have not recorded in quite a while. I just. I don't know, I've been thinking about the future so much, not really about the present. Um, I did have my appointment yesterday, and he put me on testosterone. I do not have it yet. He said that basically there's going to be prior auth wanted for my medication for insurance to cover it. Because the United States is stupid and that's how healthcare works. But anyway, so I'm going to have to wait for that to go through. So he said it might take 2 days. I'm really hoping it's only the 2 days or less because we're supposed to leave this weekend, which means I won't be able to start my testosterone until after we get back. And that would suck. um, a lot. But I'm going to be on the gel, and he's essentially giving me half dose of the gel for now, to help, first of all, wean me onto it, because I don't take medication basically at all. And then secondly, to see how, since I do have high testosterone, which my labs came back, and it wasn't crazy high as, I shouldn't say crazy high, because crazy high would be like, hey, you're a dude in the like 400 range, but what? No, it's not that high, but it is definitely higher than a normal woman. And so, since I already run a little high, we're going a little gradiated into the testosterone, but we're not going super low on the dose. It's just a half dose of what he would normally prescribe to keep someone in the 500 to 700 range. And basically, we're going to see how my body reacts to it and how much it jumps on the testosterone and all of that. I mean, I told him my testosterone was going to be high. I mean, it's not a shock, but I don't know. It means I'm not crazy. I always, I always worry that I'm just wishing something would happen, and that it's not, that it's really happening. I'm always, I don't know if it's because I try so hard not to be a denialist. I don't know if it's because I've had to second guess myself a lot in my life due to spending a large portion of my life trying to get sane. I don't know if it's because my birth mother constantly accused me of being a liar my entire life. I don't know if it's because I have grown up around very conservative family members who are conspiracy theorists all the time, and so I learned to just question things and fact check. A lot of fact checking. I just doubt sometimes when I believe something very, very hard like that I don't actually have proof of. If I can't fact check it, then automatically part of my brain goes, well, are you making it up? Or is this just you wishing something would happen? Or whatever it is. But no, it's not. I wasn't making it up. Um, a nice thing is I will, since I'm on gonna be on the gel, I won't have to worry about like poking my tummy and things like that. It's a 2 hour wait. It's not a crazy wait of having, nobody touch your shoulders for 2 hours. Like, it's not a big deal, like, at all. And I mean, if insurance will cover it, why not? I have seen a couple of guys on T be like, oh, it doesn't work as fast or whatever, but I'm much more worried about being comfortable than like how fast. I feel like I am transitioning from a place of privilege. And that's maybe weird sounding because I have gone through a literal like shit pile of hell. Okay, technically that's figurative. But I mean, my entire lifetime has just been me constantly being condemned and shunned and outcast and struggling and self-loathing and so much crap because I'm trans. Like, I have gone through the freaking ringer, but I still feel like I am transitioning from a place of privilege because I feel like most trans guys, when they're trying to transition, they can't grow any facial hair. They're desperate to get on T so that they can get any in the first place. I can grow it without any T. I feel like that's a privilege. I feel like a lot of guys go on T hoping that their voice will drop or hoping that they, will be able to come across in a more masculine way, or things that I have naturally just been able to do because that's the way my body wants to do things. Um, I feel like there's other people who don't look into genetics, as it were. And I didn't look into genetics in any way, shape, or form from my birth mother's side, but on my dad's side, it's hardy folk. And I looked into genetics in that I already come off very masculine, even as a, female. It's still very dysphoric for me personally, but I understand. I don't know. I feel like kids who can transition when they're in their like 20s and, late teens and stuff, that's also transitioning in a place of privilege. There's people who have had to wait a decent amount into their adulthood trying to get to be able to be at a point in their life where they can transition. People who've waited way longer than even me. Like, I'm 36, and there's people I know who've like had to wait till they were in their 50s and stuff. I sometimes grieve that I'm going to be in my 40s before I'm fully done with all of the surgery stuff and the recovery times and everything. And yet there's people who just have to wait so much longer. And I don't know, because of how distressing it is to be plagued by dysphoria and how absolutely painful it is to be a kid with dysphoria, because I remember being a kid with dysphoria and it is hell. I don't know if someone in their late teens or early 20s realizes how much of a place of privilege it can be able to transition that young. But at the same time, that poor kid can't grow facial hair, and they are, struggling because they're on testosterone and they still can't grow facial hair. And they're like, seeing my privilege of being able to, and jealous. And I understand that too. I recognize that. But at the same time, even though I still worry. I mean, I want to be the man I have dreamt my entire life of being. I want to be that man so much. So freaking much. And I can't do anything about the height. But I'm really hoping I can do something about pretty much the rest of it. I really, really, really want that. And I keep thinking about, 10 years from now, building a house on our farm and having our, awesome little place, working to build life. To give back to the world and to my loved ones through my own work of my hands. I want to do regenerative farming. Like I want to do permaculture. I want to do no-till gardening. I want to have solar for our electricity. I want us to make a non-environmentally negative impact place and have a positive impact on the world. And I want to have that home and everything, but I want to be a man in that home. I don't want to just do it. I want to do it as myself. And obviously, I want to do it in another country. um, but yeah. I don't know when I'm going to be able to start putting the testosterone on because I don't know when it's going to be filled, the prescription. But once I start it, I'm just like every other little trans person there is. When you start hormone therapy, you're hoping for change. You really, really are. But at the same time, I'm not hoping to change overnight. Very, very much I want to change, but I don't want it to be such a rapid change that I can't hold on to who I am, because I like who I am, except that I don't look like who I am. And I want to keep who I am. Like, that's important to me. And I don't want such gradual changes that 2 years from now I don't look any different. That would be nightmarish for me. But I don't want such fast changes that, like, I Hulk out or something and it's like I'm unrecognizable as a person. Like, I don't know. I want it to be in between those things. Which it should be. I don't know. I was so excited about my shoes. Like, I was jump up and down, dance around like a little kid and everything else. And my testosterone, I feel like, yeah, let's do this. Let's get it done. I want to be on the other side of the testosterone. The testosterone's not what I'm excited about. I'm excited for several months later after doing the testosterone. I'm sure I'll start getting excited as changes happen, though. I feel very calm about it. I feel very, I don't know, zen, whatever. I'm comfortable. I'm glad that there's progress, but I'm not feverish or anything. Just, I don't know. I thought there would be more like turmoil or excitement or whatever months ago when I was thinking about it, you know. Even at the beginning of the year, it's just like I feel like I'm in a good place perspective wise, and I'm genuinely hoping that my transition only takes, 3 to 5 years, and then that's it and I can move on. Like, I don't want to be stuck in transition forever. I want to transition and then move on. And maybe that's weird. I definitely don't meet very many trans people who are like that at all. They seem to want to stay a part of the trans identity as long as possible and hug into the trans community and feel that, I don't know, camaraderie and acceptance and stuff and everything. And everyone wants some acceptance. That's fine. I mean, I'm still looking for some peers to hang out with. But, it's like, I don't know. It's not just that I've never been an activist. Like, I really do identify as male. I don't identify as trans. I recognize that I am trans, but I don't identify with being trans. I feel like I'm just trans because I'm transitioning. I'm not trying to be part of a group or a clique or a movement or some group of people. I just want to be me. That's all I want. I don't get anything out of being part of the trans movement and groups and all of that stuff. I mean, I just don't get anything out of it. The It helps me to help other people, and it helps me to find people who've gone through parts of transitioning I haven't yet, and they can help teach you, what to expect or what their experience was, and maybe you'll experience some of those things, or, you know, prepare. Like, things like that definitely are edifying, but all of the like trans pride and stuff, I don't really jump on the bandwagon. I've never been a person who likes jumping on bandwagons. Like, the entire time I was a lesbian, I went to what, 3 prides? Like, I like feminism, but I've never once been to a feminist movement, uh, like at all. I'm just not an activist. I want other people to be treated well and for good things to happen to them, but I don't want to go get red faced and yell and scream at people about it, or, I don't know, stomp up and down and make a bunch of. I don't think less of people who do that. I realize that there's a very important role in that, in fighting for rights, and the people that do that and pour their passion into trying to make the world a better place, I appreciate that. I just am not that person myself. And I don't want to be trans forever. I keep meeting trans people. I've actually left all of the discords for trans stuff besides the one for my own personal support group, and one. I've left all of them because the majority of them had nothing to do with trying to help each other transition, and were more about helping each other feel comfortable about being trans. And there's nothing wrong with being trans. It's just the identity is either a gender or a non-gender. It's not. It doesn't make sense to me that I I realize this is probably a really stupid analogy, but it's what my brain's coming up with. A person starts out and is a caterpillar, and they realize they're supposed to be a butterfly. And so they start going into a cocoon and turning into that. Well, I don't identify as a cocoon. I identify as the butterfly. I don't want to be in the state of transition for forever. And I realize that there's a lot of limitations, and some people are forced into staying in the state of transition for a very long time due to financial reasons or health reasons or a whole slew of things from society. I mean, there's a lot of things that can be going on where people don't have the, privilege to actually make transitioning be a temporary short-term thing. Instead, it's a maybe temporary long-term thing, but it's still external factors are impacting how quick or not they can move through being a cocoon. They don't want necessarily to be a cocoon, but they're kind of stuck there. But there's a lot of trans people that lately I have been finding more and more of. Like a couple of years ago, it wasn't nearly this much as it is now, where people are embracing being the cocoon and they're not really trying to be the butterfly anymore. They don't care about getting to the gender, they just care about coming across as trans. And being trans is their identity. Everyone they meet, they want to make sure that person knows they're trans. Everything they're doing, they want to make sure that it's very obvious that they're a trans person doing it. And I don't understand that mindset at all. I'm not that person. My goal isn't to be transitioning and in this cocoon forever. I feel like the cocoon is sort of the awkward between state between, the thing that you were before that was miserable and terrible and you hated, but at least society sort of, I don't know, didn't. I mean, for some people maybe slam you down. They certainly did me. Maybe they just, everybody who's trans experiences that. I don't know. I don't claim to have anything but my own experience to go by. But, you start out and you're something that is recognizable. And then you end up being in this little transition spot where you're going through a lot. And it's hard to recognize sometimes stuff, and even for you, let alone for everyone else. And then you get to the other side and everyone can recognize you again, except it's not miserable and you don't feel persecuted and you don't feel just desperation all the time to understand why you don't fit and to fix yourself. But at the same time, fixing yourself would only ostracize you more. And all of that gets set aside. And yeah, I understand dysphoria is always going to be there because I'm going to have scars from the surgeries, and something might be flawed. I'm always going to be short. Even if I can somehow fix every other thing that I'm dysphoric about, I can't grow myself taller. But it will be such a lessened degree of depression and dysphoria and discontent that I get to lead a happier life while also being completely identifiable. And I'm not in the awkward phase forever. I don't want to be in the awkward phase forever. I realize there are some people who seem to take genuine pride in this awkwardness and want to keep that awkwardness going. Even once they have gotten to the gender that they've proclaimed that they genuinely wish for, they keep making adjustments to it. It's not enough to be a girl or a boy. You have to be a girl or a boy that looks more like this or looks more like this, or I don't even know how much of it is gender dysphoria and body dysmorphia at that point, when I've seen trans girls before who were obsessed with the neck surgery. Their lips needed to be more full. Oh, okay, now they needed, to break their jawline once again because their previous jawline just wasn't quite as feminine as they wanted. And then they'd already broken their jaw twice and had everything completely reconstructed twice, and it wasn't enough. Have to have their boobs made even bigger have to have their butt implanted because it's not big enough, constantly obsessed with the next surgery, trying to make themselves more and more into some ultimate female. It wasn't enough to be a woman. They had to be the ultimate woman. They didn't want to stop being trans. They didn't want the transitioning to be over. And I don't know if they felt like they just wouldn't be part of the trans community if they were just a normal average woman. I mean, I've been kind of before, I'm just going to be a boring white dude. That's really, really boring after the excitement of being part of the LGBT plus community with all the sparkles and the rainbows and the love. It can be like lackluster to be like, oh, I'm just going to be this. But at the same time, I am boring. I mean, I am just a very simple person. So I realize some people aren't simple, and maybe, I don't know, they get addicted to either the drama of transitioning, or maybe to the community when you're transitioning, or maybe they get addicted to the dysphoria itself. I don't know. But it seems like I just keep meeting trans people who are very much identifying as trans more than the gender that they're trying to transition to. They're not really trying to get to the gender anymore. They don't care if they pass. They care if they come across as trans. Like, that's how they want to express themselves. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't make sense to me personally. I don't want that for myself. I'm not interested in that. And that means that there's a lot of trans people that I just haven't been able to connect with because our mindsets are so very, very different about it. Their mindset is trans for life, and my mindset is I'm a boy. And they're just like, yeah, you're a boy, but also you're trans, and you're going to be trans for life. And I'm like, or I'm going to transition and just be a boy. And they're just like, and I'm like, and it's like, anywho, I'm not sure how I got off on talking about this. The main point is, yay, starting T. I mean, I'm happy about it. I'm just not exuberant. I would say I was exuberant about the shoes. I still am. When I start to get upset about something or things, I'll literally go look at my shoes. Apparently they're my new grounding thing or whatever. Just like putting on my boxer briefs makes me feel really proud and really good about myself. Like, them shoes, man, they do that so much. But it's fall and it's rainy and I haven't really been able to wear them. Yay for my birthday being right before the winter season, but whatever. I don't want to mess them up by wearing them in mud puddles. But yeah, I mean, obviously, when I start the testosterone, I'll probably make a video, and as changes happen, I'll make videos and stuff. I've been more thinking about, like, I literally drew a non-scaled schematic for the first floor of the house I want to build in the future on our regenerative farm. Like, that's more what I've been thinking about, the future. To me, where I am right now is that awkward stage. To me, where I am is like someone going to college and then afterwards they have their degree and their career and everything. And they spend the majority of their life in their career, not in their college days. And for them to eternally view themselves in the way that they did when they were a college student isn't like any kind of a progression. They're not actually ever entering adulthood. I don't want to be in the awkward in between phase between childhood and adulthood. I want to get through the in between phase and to do a good job of it and get to the rest of my adulthood. I mean, honestly, it's taken me so long to even start transitioning. I don't feel like drawing it out. Like, I just want to be happy and content. Taking testosterone is just one of the things that needs to happen for me to be able to have that life where I get to be happy and content. So I'm happy I'm doing it. And it's going to come with some hardships, and it's going to come with stuff growing, which will be a little painful and uncomfortable, but whatever. I mean, I'd much rather be in pain because good things are changing in my body than be in pain because, like cavities or something bad like that. So I'm just good with it. I know what I want, and I know what I need to do to get to it, and I know I have the determination, the motivation, and I have the strength to get to where I want to go. And I feel like I'm being decently reasonable about it. Like I'm setting up smaller goals inside of the big goal. I'm gonna get there. That's what I'm thinking about is the future. The future that I'm getting to. What I have to do right now is just sort of not as important as where I'm gonna be. And it's not that it's not important, it's just so minuscule comparatively. Like, me getting depressed now or me getting upset now is so tiny. It used to be so huge being depressed, and now depression is this small thing because it's not going to be part of my future the way that it is now, part of my present, and that just makes it so much less significant. Having a path and understanding exactly what you want and exactly who you want to be, and not just giving up on any of it. Like, I don't even know how to explain the clarity and the focus. I mean, I'm waiting, but I'm also following through while I'm waiting. I don't know, maybe it's because I've always been a consistent person, but this is just like more consistency. And who knows, maybe I'll get like super excited later. I don't know. But that's how I feel about it for now.